So in this week's Creative Confidence Catch Up, I'm going to be chatting with King Shampz. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is King Shampz. I'm from Philadelphia, PA. I'm a dope artist. I have my own label, Dead Wrong Records, Dead Wrong Entertainment, rather, with my brother Azan. And I've been rapping for some years now. I've got some projects out. We've been dropping every month. My solo project is Rise of Corleone. The label's project is Murder Files Volume 1. And then I just dropped a recent project called The Beginnings, Heat on SoundCloud, which is a lot of the different songs that I've put together over the years that's available on all streaming platforms now. Got some music videos out too. So yeah, I've been working for a minute. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. So it sounds like you've been really, really busy. But my first question to you today was, was it a specific period in your life where you thought music is my thing and that's where I want to go?
Oh, that's a great question. I think early on. Early
Hmm.
on, I believe, like as far as my childhood, me and my brother always were around music. We actually are classically trained musicians as well.
That's so
I played the
cool.
piano. Yeah, I played the piano. He played a little bit of the piano,
Yeah, yeah.
but his thing was more the drums. And our parents kept us in things like that. And rap kind of came along around the same time as like the piano and everything, just like our musical journey.
Hmm.
And we just were rapping on karaoke systems and trying to like figure out what we wanted to do until we actually got good at it. So
Hmm.
probably since like early childhood, yeah, that's definitely when I started. And I was like, yo, this is something I definitely could definitely do. I remember when I saw the Fade to Black DVD, it was by Jay-Z actually.
Hmm.
And I was maybe 12, maybe like
Yeah.
12. And I remember seeing, I was like, wow, like all these people are coming out, everybody's out there, all the celebrities and the big time, athletes and everything are there to see this guy perform. And just how he captured the moment,
Hmm.
how everything was recorded, I was like, that's what I want to do. So yeah, from early on, yeah.
Love that. I love that. And I know that you did at one point, you talked about parents. So with your sort of, whether it be like siblings, your parents, people that are close to you, did you feel that they kind of helped to spur you on in that direction and gave you that support as you were trying to get on in this journey?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
I feel like even now, my parents are still very supportive of what we're doing. They always give me words of encouragement. They may not know the whole music industry and
Yeah.
what goes into that, but they're very supportive. And by my dad playing so much um, different genres of music, rather.
Mhm.
I've always listened to everything from, like rock to jazz, to R&B, pop, any genre of music I'm pretty familiar with. So yeah, on this journey, they've definitely played a pivotal role. And I thank them for giving me the gift of music because it's something that is we all can relate to all over the world. So it's dope to actually have it and be good at it too.
Do you have like a specific genre of music that you prefer then? Like, is there anything in particular that takes your fancy?
That's a good question. I think, of course, hip hop, because that's what I do.
Hmm.
That's definitely on the top of the list. But if I had to go outside of hip hop, it would be a tie probably between rock and jazz
I
for
do
sure.
like
I mean,
jazz. Just
yeah,
sometimes I don't know what it is, but like sometimes if you go on holiday or whatever, and it's just like playing at the back, I don't know, it kind of gets you in that sort of not flow, but that sense of calm. I don't know. Sometimes music
yeah,
brings
it's a
that
flow.
to me.
Yeah, I think it's a flow. I
Yeah, yeah.
definitely think that it's a little bit of a flow and a certain vibe to it. Whenever I'm listening to, John Coltrane or, Miles Davis, Sketches of Spain is one of my favorite albums. It always gives you a certain kind of, it's almost like a audio movie. It's
Hmm.
like cinematic in a way, so to speak, if you're really listening to the chords and the pianos and the saxophones. It's a really dope journey. So yeah, for sure.
Mm. Also, I like how you talk about so obviously being classically trained, and then you went into the sort of like you like the rap sort of hip hop side. So, how did that sort of come about? Was it just a case of I kind of just want to go from here and then just see what's happening over there, and it kind of just filtered in, or what was it? How did that come about?
I think it was already there.
Hmm.
That was something, again, like I said, growing up and listening to all genres of music, I was attracted to hip hop, and my brother was as well. Because, of course, it's a younger man's thing. It wasn't really too many young guys playing jazz like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it should be, to keep the, excuse me, culture moving forward. But we're still from West Philly,
Hmm.
so it's still a lot of challenges and a lot of different things that happen out in the streets,
Hmm.
a lot of crime, a lot of violence, a lot of different things that, come from where we come from.
Yeah.
So we kind of embraced that one way or another and kind of got involved out there, and it became part of our story. So it was
Yes.
just how we felt, where it was like, yo, this is something that we could kind of tell our story from music. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And through the music, so to speak. So it was already there, the love for it. I just felt like it kind of started to materialize more and more once we started to study hip hop and the
Mm.
greats of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Nas's, your Jay Z's, your Tupac's, your Biggie's, your Wu Tang Clans. The list goes on and on. And we just became student of the game. And with our environment coupled with our love for music
Hmm.
and understanding music, we just kind of wrapped it all into one and created our own sound and our own wave. And I think that's what really played a major role, and that's going forward as far as doing hip hop.
Yeah, I love that as well. Because you're on about like, I suppose this it brings us on to like the community sort of aspect. So you were talking about like how music allows you to kind of air your voices and what you've been through, and I suppose it's like a storytelling tool in a way, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And by you kind of popping your music out there to the world, I suppose there will be then other people who will like not sympathize, but like they will resonate with what you have to say because they might be going through certain things that you've been through, or and then through that community is formed.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It definitely is something that I feel like when I'm talking to different fans of my music or people who have just encountered my music that are from similar backgrounds, similar environments, they can relate for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
They can understand the story. They may not understand the lingo altogether because we're all from different
Yeah.
places, but just the imagery and the wording that's being used, people
Hmm.
can go on ahead and relate to that. And then even people who can't relate to it, I feel like it gives them a better understanding of where we're from, the
Hmm.
environment we come from, and the kind of mentality that you kind of have to have when you're coming from these environments. So I feel like it's very informative for all, for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely, definitely. So, in terms of like projects, then, would you like to tell us a bit about So you've been talking about like some of the music videos, things like that you've been doing. Do you kind of want to share a bit about what you're working on at the moment, or what you have been working on?
Absolutely. Yeah. We just dropped my project, Rise of Corleone. That's out now on all streaming platforms. I believe that it's an incredible body of music, not only for hip hop, but again, it's a musical experience. I feel like if you can just dive into it and actually listen to the storytelling, the lyrics, the hooks, the flows, the cadences, like if you really dive deep into it, you'll really enjoy it. Rise of Corleone, I feel like, is a classic on its own, and I feel like it's going to get that praise soon. So I'm really excited about everybody that's been listening to it as came back with rave reviews. We also dropped on my label Murder Files, which is a compilation project with me, my brother Azan, who handles all of the production and hooks. And then our artists Black and Frio are also on there as well. And they have solo tracks that's available on all streaming platforms. And the last project, because like you said, we've been extremely busy
Yeah, it
at the
looks
start
like
of the
you've really
year.
been busy. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been rolling. We've been rolling. I feel like once you capture positive momentum, you kind of got to just put it in a bottle and
Yeah.
just,
Get it out
like move with it.
there.
Yeah. So the next project is called The Beginnings, Heat from SoundCloud. It's basically another kind of compilation of records that we had did previously, but they never were able to hit all streaming platforms.
Hmm.
So we basically did like a re-release. And if anybody knows anything about how music's being consumed now, some people will listen to music for a week and be done with it, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel like with artists, especially people who are content creators like ourselves, we have to be able to recycle our material to actually get it out here to the people. We
Hmm.
have to find new ways to do it, new innovative ways to do it. So we say, hey, you know what? A lot of people haven't heard it. A lot of people that have heard it haven't heard it on all streaming platforms. They'd have to go to SoundCloud or anything to get it. So we decided to put it all together on streaming platforms, and it's been an incredible success. The music videos, we have one called West Philly 187 and one called Like That. Those videos have been doing extremely well. Both of them are probably over 1,000 views organically.
Wow.
So we've really been, yeah, doing very well with those.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we've been busy. We've been busy, and we're actually hitting the studio this weekend to record some more music too. So you know,
Oh.
it's constant momentum, but it's gaining a lot of great traction. So
Mhm.
we're excited about what the future holds for not only our careers but the artist careers that we're putting forth as well.
Love that. And one other thing that I particularly noticed, so like today, I think it was, when like people who you know or parts of your community where they are kind of, I don't know what was happening, but I'm sure I saw somebody who was DJing, or and then the music was at the, and I'm like, whoa, so like the community now are kind of like using this music in their own ways, and I'm thinking that's amazing. So obviously there is a lot of attraction with other people wanting to kind
Yeah.
of hear it and get that, so they are then getting it out to other people as well. So it's like it's kind of going like this, isn't it? So many
Yeah,
people like jumping on
it's
board.
like a tree. It's like a tree
Yeah,
almost. You know, you kind of plant the seeds, which is recording the music.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and then you're pouring the water across the seeds, which is the promotion, and then you have to literally trust the process.
Hmm.
Deal with the process of letting it grow. It's going to be growing pains. Some days it's not going to grow at all. You're not going to see the
That's true.
results eventually, but you are going to see the results eventually if you consistently go forth. You consistently
Consistency.
do your
Yeah,
job. It's key.
yeah, yeah.
Consistency is
Consistency.
key.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because some people that, like, for example, a YouTube channel or something, they'll think, oh, yeah, I'll do one or two. And then when they don't see results straight away, it's like, oh, that's really disappointing. But it's like, you got to keep going, haven't you? Even through the times
Yeah.
where, like you said, when there's nothing going on or you feel like there isn't, down under the surface with that, like that little seed, it might not look like anything's happening, but the roots are sprouting and things are going to be coming to the surface soon, and nobody knows, and then boom, like a
Yep.
plant grows, and then suddenly something starts to really exciting happen. So yeah.
100%.
Mm.
100%. You got to be able to stay consistent and be disciplined within the process, and it'll yield the results you're looking for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. If you want anything decent to happen, you've got to kind of keep consistent, because if it is just like, you could easily do like a real good thing, but then it's not really going to last for long. It's kind of that
Hmm.
what's the word, like what's that
Like a
word? Is it like
flash in a pan
validation?
kind of thing.
What's that? Sorry.
Like a flash in a pan kind of
That's
result.
it.
Like it
Yeah,
just kind
yeah.
of happened. Yeah.
And then it's like fizzles out, and then it's like onto the next sort of shiny thing. It's like, no, it's easier
Yeah.
to kind of keep with it and just keep going, and then things will happen as and when they need to. Mm,
Absolutely. I agree.
love that.
100%.
So, my next question for you then, how would you describe your creative style currently?
I think it's free. I
Hmm.
feel
Love
free
that.
in my process. I feel like I'm actually reaching a point where I want people to listen to really dope music, and I'm trying to find new ways to create it at any cost. So, with that being said, it's just like a whole kind of I consider it the no mind process. And what I
Mm,
mean by that is I'm just letting it flow. Whatever's
like
coming
it.
to me, however the beat is kind of taking me, I'm letting it flow. And I think it kind of goes back to what I've been studying. And I've been telling everybody I know about it. It's this one. book I've been reading, The Five Rings, by this guy named Miyamoto Musashi. And he
Okay.
was this famous samurai. And one thing that he keeps talking about in there is this presence of the no mind. And basically, what it is if you're talented at something or you have a certain kind of creative flow, flow with it and adapt with it.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
yeah, like don't have yourself conform to one thing. Be able
Right.
to flow with everything. So if it's like from a music perspective, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, if this beat is going this way, I'm going to go with this beat and I'm going to give everything into it, as opposed to me saying I'm going to write to this beat a certain way and it doesn't come out the way I want it
Yeah.
to. You
And
know
then you
what I'm
get
saying? Like I'm
disappointed.
forcing it. Yeah, like I'm forcing it a little bit. So
Yeah.
right now, I feel like that's kind of like my creative process. I'm just like really in a good space of
Oh yeah.
being like, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm blanking out. I'm listening to the music. I'm letting it flow through me. I'm gaining that energy. And then I'm just penning. I'm doing what
Mm.
I do best. So I feel like that's where my creative process is right now, for
I
sure.
love I love that because it's like I'd say it's like a quite an intuitive sort of process, which for me I
Yes.
proper resonate with that because that's how I am. If something how can I put it? If someone's doing something, I don't want to be jumping on that bandwagon just because it's a trend. But if it feels like something that it aligns with me at that time and it flows and it kind of, oh yeah, I need to do this in order to get that result. And it,
Mhm.
yeah, and it feels right. That's when I kind of lend myself into it. So yeah, I like that sort of intuitive approach.
Yeah, it's an organic thing
Yeah.
because you're really going with what your feeling is at the
Mm,
moment instead of like you said what everyone else is feeling
yeah.
at the moment. Because again, like you had said earlier, it's your creative
Hmm.
process. So you have to be able to kind of do you. You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
It's true.
It's really simple, but it's complex for some.
Mm.
So we just kind of have to get out of our own way when we are creating like that,
That
for sure.
that's that is so true. That's so true. So, one of my last questions for this
Mm.
podcast, I think, is where does King Shampz actually come from? Is it what, as in the title King Shampz? Is it just like a
Mm.
nickname that you have? Where's it come from?
Well, it's a Arabic name from Shamsuddin. Actually, I just put like a little twist on it with like the
Uh
Z
huh.
and everything.
Uh huh.
But it really means leader or son of God, like a
Ah.
leader. You
Uh
know what I
huh.
mean? So I just put the king in front of it because I was like, oh, this is like dope and it's trendy and it's catchy. And I
Yeah.
feel like a king every day. And I feel like we should all feel like kings and queens every day
Yeah.
of our own bodies and minds and spirits. So I feel like it was just a dope title to kind of go with and just put it all together. And it actually has some significance because we'll hear all kinds of names. We're like, well, what the hell is that? Like, where did
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
from? What is the origin story of that?
Mm.
So yeah, that's where it came from.
I
Yep.
love that. No, that's really cool. And my last question is any words of wisdom or encouragement for our viewers today? And it could literally be any piece of advice that you can think of.
For sure. One thing that I live by every day, and I tell myself every day, is to dominate your process. And what I mean by that is your process, your journey, your story is your process, your journey, and your story. You want to be able to be consistent with whatever goal it is and dominate it each day. Every day that God gives us another breath in our body, we have an opportunity to be better and to be great and not to compete with anyone but your own self. You're your own competition. Set goals for yourself and achieve them. And like I said, when you dominate your process, you'll start to see that you'll start to dominate in life where you want to be. They'd be like, wow, I've been putting in this time, I've been putting in this effort and just focus in and dominate your process. If you do that, those things that you want, you'll eventually get. And when you get them, you'll feel 20 times better knowing that you focused in and you focused in on a process instead of the result. Because
Love that.
once you're practicing and you're building those reps and repetition, you start to flow. You start to
Mm.
become natural with it. It's easier for you. So, if there's one thing I could give the viewers, dominate your process, whatever that is, whatever you're trying to be great at, work on it consistently. Give yourself the time and give yourself grace. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. But as long as you're dominating that process every day, you're coming to the table like, hey, I may have messed up yesterday, but I'm going to do 10 times better. When you have that motivation and that mindset, you're going to go far. So that's definitely what I would tell everybody. Dominate your process, man.
I
Run your
love
own
that.
race.
It's great, yeah, and it's that, and that's like you said, you keep dominating it with that process, and then those other things just will align, won't they?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I love that. Absolutely love that. But Tim, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Definitely, definitely. And you guys make sure that you check me out on Instagram at King Shampz, KingShampz. Make sure that you go on all streaming platforms. Rise of Corleone is out now. The Beginnings, Heat on SoundCloud is out now. Murder Files is out now. Videos is out now. Go check that stuff out. You will not be disappointed. It's really dope work, really dope things. And I appreciate you having me on and sharing your platform with me today.
No worries, no worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.